Good morning, my dear students. Did you ever have an experience of volunteering? Let us see the experience of Anthony, who, after finishing his studies in medicine, felt an intense desire to join a project to render medical services to the poor. He found an NGO offering voluntary service in the medical and social sectors of Kenya, Africa. Soon he set off for the training, and from there he headed to his new mission field. Reaching the place, he was surprised to encounter a totally different world. It was an international community with 6 Brazilians, 2 French families with kids, a young married American couple, and many Italian and Latin American youngsters offering their services in different disciplines of the project. He enjoyed his work of visiting the houses and working in the medical missions. He was also deeply moved on seeing the harsh realities of poverty in the village. He was a changed individual with a new outlook to his life. All the more, he was thrilled to return home to share his precious experiences with others and was determined to invite more friends to join this project, which had made a huge difference in his life. Certainly, a volunteering experience could help transform us into a new individual. Now let us see a little bit of the history of volunteering. One of the first persons to volunteer was Clara Barton, who was also called Angel of the Battlefield. Why was she given that name? She was called by that name because she volunteered her time to sew supplies for the American soldiers during the 19th century Civil War. Later, a team of other volunteers joined her and they began providing aid to the servicemen. It was the beginning of the American Red Cross movement and the manifestation of volunteerism in the entire world. Later, many organizations were formed, volunteering their time and resources to work for the disadvantaged people. In many countries, volunteerism is deeply rooted in traditional beliefs and community practices. Dugnad is one of the traditional forms of volunteerism in Norway. During the Dugnad Day, people get together to fix, to clean, paint, or tidy things up, contributing to the community that they are part of. Let us see what is the Indian tradition of volunteering. The role of volunteering is held high in the Indian tradition. Ancient Indians believed that the extension of the work with one's hands would provide spiritual awakening to the soul. When we learn to share what we have, wealth, talents, time, knowledge, or energy, with others, our hearts would be purified and could attain self-realization. Give what you have to give. It will come back to you. It will come back multiplied 1,000 folds. But the attention must not be on that. This is what Indian traditional wisdom instructs. Now we shall see about the importance and usefulness of volunteering. Albert Schweitzer was one of the famous missionaries of modern era. leaving behind both an academic career in theology and that of a concert organist. He was one of the first to start a major mission in Africa. He, along with his wife, set up a clinic in French Equatorial Africa, and for 4 decades they served the people there. When he was 85 years old, some of his friends came to visit him, and one day they were all walking up a hill. It was 11 a.m. in the morning and it was extremely hot. Suddenly, the 85-year-old Schweitzer walked away from the group and made his way toward an African woman struggling up the hill with a large load of wood. Schweitzer took the entire load from the woman and carried it up the hill for her. When he rejoined the group, one of his friends asked why he had done that. Schweitzer looked at the group, then pointed to the woman and said, "No one should ever have to carry a burden like that alone." People are made people through other people. This is an African proverb. This tells us the very core of all volunteering works, as it is based on relationships with people and its potential to enhance their well-being. A deeper sense of altruistic behavior arises from the realization that we all are connected through a universal bond of sharing. This helps us to understand that whatever we have in life is to be shared with others, and only by sharing and helping others our lives would become meaningful and happier. Our services should not be out of selfish motive or for publicity, but it would become a spiritual worship. When we help others, we help ourselves. We haven't discovered yet this great secret of volunteerism. When we serve others, we feel a sense of joy within us, and over time we can develop qualities of compassion, love, and empathy. This will make us serene and would instill peaceful behavior in our daily interaction with others. The diverse situations and cultures we encounter during volunteering will help us to embrace diversities and self-differences. Now I'm going to share the experience of a 7-year-old boy that started a ripple effect. In the year 2010, Haiti, a small Caribbean country, experienced a catastrophic earthquake. It killed hundreds of thousands of people and caused huge damage. On knowing about this disaster, a 7-year-old boy by name Charlie Simpson from London decided to raise funds for UNICEF's Haiti crisis response. He rode his small bicycle mounted with a small placard about the cause around a park near his home 7 times to support Haiti. Initially, he wanted to raise only £500, but that seemingly small bicycle ride round the park turned into something much bigger than anyone expected. He collected more than £150,000 to support Haiti. Dear students, when we try to affect a simple and genuine passion to help others, it would indeed start a ripple effect, bringing change to the people and the communities in which we live. Have you ever thought of sharing your resources, time, talents, knowledge, etc. with others? Now let us see which are the different types of volunteerism. Number one, traditional volunteering. This is the kind of volunteering that we know of more. This could include visiting and serving in an old age home, working alongside the healthcare or other social service groups, etc. 2. Service learning programs. Certain schools offer service learning where the students are allowed to serve a group through volunteering and earn educational credit, thus preparing the students to become more caring, responsible, and helpful towards others in the society. 3. Skill-based volunteering. In this type of volunteering, our specialized skills and talents would be used to help the non-profits to successfully achieve their mission. 4. Volunteering in developing countries. This international volunteering in developing countries are mainly teaching and working with NGOs or non-profit organizations to help and build the people and institutions there. 6. Online volunteering. This type of volunteerism makes it possible to volunteer for different organizations in different countries from our home, office, and at our convenience. Next, micro volunteering. This new mode of online volunteering combines small actions by many people to create big impacts. Then we have volunteering in an emergency. This volunteering often comes to play in the recovery efforts following natural disasters such as floods, droughts, hurricanes, and earthquakes, etc. We have then corporate volunteering. Some corporate companies allow their employees to volunteer during work hours as a part of their social responsibility activities. Now, let us see which are the requirements for effective volunteering. We need to be clear about our motives and attitudes before we venture into volunteering so that our work is effective, fruitful, and beneficial. These are the requirements for effective and fruitful volunteering. Number one, know what is volunteerism. The very first thing that we need before we opt for a voluntary experience is to know what really volunteerism is and what it is not. The United Nations volunteers have specifically pointed out three main criteria of volunteerism. It says that the action should be carried out voluntarily according to an individual's own free will. Secondly, the action should not be undertaken primarily for financial reward, and thirdly, it should be done only for common good. Breaching any of the above norms could result in either a personal or financial exploitation. Second requirement, examine your motivation. Another important fact would be to realize what prompts us to choose volunteerism. Right motivation is the key to volunteering, and this indeed arises from a sense of altruism. Reconsidering others' suffering as our suffering and others' happiness as our happiness is a significant aspect of volunteering. This invites us to work with a spirit of cooperation rather than competition. Thus, we would not be just working for ourselves but for the benefit of all. Third requirement, strong commitment. Effective volunteering also requires a great commitment to extend our service to a wider circle and the ability to listen keenly to the people with whom we are working. This would enhance a greater trust and cohesion with the people. The fourth important requirement is patience. We would need more patience and peace within us as it would take time to get accustomed to new situations and to get started with the work. Ignorance of this time fact could easily make us burn out and dissatisfied. Now, dear students, what matters more in volunteerism is not we changing the world, but how much we have been changed and how we continue to serve others in our life, realizing our immense blessings, energy, talents, knowledge and other resources, and deciding to share it with others is a true spirit of volunteerism. When we gain this, we would never be short of a platform to do volunteering, but we would set apart some time from our daily routine and would ready ourselves to serve others. Many people living around us are silently sharing and helping the needy with what they have. It is this part of volunteerism, breaking away from our normal routine once or twice in a week and entering into another life of service and self-sacrifice that would enrich us in happiness and transform our lives. As Swami Vivekananda aptly put it, God is everywhere. He sleeps in stones, awakes in plants and speaks only in man. Service to man, therefore, is the highest worship of God. Now, dear students, I would like to give you a few questions that you can answer at home as home. Number one, what are the resources at your disposal now that you would like to share with the needy around you? 2. Try to find a platform for volunteering that would fit within your daily schedule. And third, as a class, can you volunteer to do some service for the poor or for the community? Plan with the leaders and class teacher. Thank you. God bless you.